Hi there, thanks so much for joining me today. This is going to be just another one of my colour and chats. I am doing this picture from Botanicum by Maria Troller, and it's not a tutorial in any way. I am not such a brilliant colorist that I feel like I've got the right to do a tutorial. I started off doing this with just trying to do each little petal in these little bubble flowers. I forget what they're called, and then it just got too much for me, so decided to kind of slowly but surely do the whole thing and do it in about 2 layers. I've decided to use my Prismacolors in this book. It feels again like such an age since I've colored that I must say my hand felt all stiff and completely unused to doing the coloring. Isn't it funny how when we don't do something for ages, we really need to get back into it again? So as you can see here, I'm just going over the whole little bud, and then that sort of worked a bit better for me. I do a few layers just using the 2 colors. I must be honest, I didn't look to check what kind of flower this is. In this Botanicum book, she does list the botanical names of the flowers per page, and I looked a bit later on and I see the one flower is a tiger lily, and that one I will actually try and find colors that work with it. But I hadn't looked at this stage, and I can't really remember what color this blue was. I think it's violet. I think I used violet and possibly imperial violet with this. I am not certain, and I do apologize for that. I felt so kind of almost out of my comfort zone in this. That is definitely violet if I look at it going down. So the more pinky one must be imperial violet Prismacolor. But as I've been colouring, I then got out my audio book and I sat and listened to it. At the moment, I'm listening to, excuse me, so sorry, and I'm not even colouring frogs. I'm listening to a book on my Audible, in my Audible library called Iron Lake by William Kent Kruger. And it's a detective series, and it's the first one in the Cork O'Connor series. I am quite enjoying it, I must say. I like detective stories, and this has kind of got the normal family component of a broken marriage and all that jazz, trying to sort of, so it's got the human interest, and it's also got an Indigenous American side to it. And being South African, I don't know so much about the Indigenous American story, so I'm finding that part of it also very interesting. Anyway, so that's what I was doing while I was colouring this and then starting to relax. So I have been lately getting into something called Amazon KDP. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, and basically it's publishing low and no content books. So I started with what I would call no content books, which is like notebooks and sketchbooks with just blank pages where you design the cover, because I had never done anything like this. And although I've been working a lot more on digital design and stuff lately, I didn't know how to work out what is bleed, what isn't bleed, and all that kind of thing that comes into book publishing. So it's been a major learning curve, but oh my goodness, I've really been enjoying it. And I'm quite excited to report that I have actually sold at this moment 10 books. So when you sell on that, you only make royalties, obviously. You don't make the price of the book. Amazon takes that. So I haven't made a lot of money as yet, but it's been encouraging, and I've now upped my game a bit. I made some music manuscript books. As you all know, I used to be an opera singer and a singing teacher. And when I taught singing and when I taught music to people, I always found it quite awkward that music manuscript books just come with the music note pages all over the show and no writing paper, no normal note paper. So I made some just normal manuscript books, and then some I made as with note pages, and then just recently I've published 5 with some content as well, with some basics of music theory and note names and things like that at the front of the book. So that's been a journey for me. And now I'm launching into writing a children's book. I don't know if you've ever heard of Would You Ever books, but they're aimed at children sort of from probably 5 to 13. I'm aiming mine at children from 6 to 12 years old. And that's sort of the age of my oldest grandchildren. And I've had such fun with them and getting ideas from the zany to the more normal things. And then I've been illustrating and buying content for illustration as well to do these books. And my next bit of news is in this publishing, I've actually published my first adult coloring book. And so I'm quite excited by that. I will probably in a day or two be doing a page through of it. And when I do the page through of it, then I'll add the link to it. There are 3 images in the book that I drew myself, and the rest are images that I have bought commercial license from artists to use in the book. And then I felt like, because I've been feeling so down and whatever, I don't feel like going into that today, I decided to put encouraging text and uplifting quotes on each book, and made the majority of the quotes that you're able to color. So the images didn't come with the quotes. I added the quotes and I added borders. So that was quite a major task, and I got 2 of my friends, my coloring friends, to color the front and the back cover for me. And so I'm very excited about that. And I have ordered the book from Amazon myself, and I've had to pay quite a bit of money to get it posted out here, but I do need to actually see it. It will be on the normal Amazon paper, so it won't be like this book with fabulous paper, and it's obviously not me as the artist of the main thing. So, but I'm still really, really excited about it, and can't wait to show it to you. And I hope that 1 or 2 of you might be interested in purchasing it to both enjoy and to support me. But if it's not your taste, then I totally understand that. It's aimed at people that enjoy that kind of thing. And I suspect that many of you prefer coloring the more difficult images done by actual artists that you know. Anyway, back to this image. I find the paper in this Botanicum book quite smooth and sort of, I don't know if I want to say almost slippery. So I find that you don't really need as many layers as perhaps you might need in some other books. And maybe I'm imagining it, and I'm just not a good enough colorist to notice. But I've found that before when I've colored in this book. So I usually put off using my Prismacolors to color with, because they cost me so much money to get them here in South Africa. But I must say, they are my all-time favorite color pencils. I bought myself a few years ago a small set of 12 Holbeins, And I would even say that I prefer these above the Holbeins. I don't know if any of you have got Holbeins and if you prefer them to Prismacolors. I think it depends on whether you prefer a soft or a hard pencil. The Holbeins are no means hard pencils, but the Prismacolors are really deliciously soft and just so pleasant to color with. So a catch up on what I've been doing besides working lately is we used to belong to, in South Africa, there's, I suppose what in America, and I'm not sure what you would call in England, you would call cable TV, I'm not quite sure. But we used to have what in South Africa is called DSTV, and then we decided it was actually costing us too much money for the value we were getting, and we were getting sort of tired of the constant repeat programs and everything. So we made the decision to stop that and take out a Netflix subscription, which I must say we've thoroughly been enjoying. And I'm quite a series person. I love binge watching series, and I've watched some like really sweet series, not too deep. I must say my TV watching is usually not too deep. It's more for complete empty-headed entertainment. But I then got onto an old series that, I mean, it's really old, the Gilmore Girls, that I'd never watched before. And oh my word, I am just watching and watching and watching this so much that it's really got me hooked in. I lie in bed thinking about it, and it's really so stupid because it's not a deep program by any manner of means, but it's such fun. And I was wondering if any of you have watched that, and if you watch Netflix, and if you do, what your favorite series is. I think we get different options here in South Africa to what the rest of the world gets, but I think eventually everything gets everywhere. My favorite TV watching is usually British crime series, and I really like British TV, I must admit, and that was the one thing. We used to have ITV on our DSTV choices, and then they closed that, and so they started only getting, I think we only had BBC One or something, and on that they would show the odd ITV series, but I then decided, oh, well, we're just going to go over to Netflix, so we really are enjoying that. And we've watched some nice old movies, and what is so pleasant for me with Netflix is the no adverts thing. Now, talking about adverts brings me to another topic, and that is that I recently got an email from YouTube saying that they reserve the right to put adverts up on your channel, even if you're not monetized. They can just put your adverts up. So put not yours, put adverts up. So I found that quite interesting. I apologize to everyone in advance because I know at present I am not monetized as yet. I don't have sufficient subscribers or watch hours, but I do intend to apply for monetization once I reach the required threshold, because I'm sure you could all understand that one does need to earn one's pennies for the time put into things when and if you can. I suspect I won't earn all that much because the subscription level is low at the moment, but every little bit helps. But I wondered if any of you had heard about this, about YouTube and just popping adverts in even with no monetization. So seems a little bit harsh. Anyway, next thing is this whole COVID thing. We're busy approaching in South Africa what they call the third wave. And I'm still more or less stuck at home most of the time because I suffer from the comorbidities, and I think our government is trying to get our vaccinations and things rolling out, but and At the moment, they've just done some vaccinations of some healthcare workers. Even that is not completed yet. I have filled in a form and I intend to be vaccinated when and if it reaches us in the 60-plus age group. Again, I would love your comments if you've actually had the vaccination for this pandemic. I don't even want to give it a name because I'm afraid I might give it the wrong name. I still talk about it as COVID-19, and I hope that's correct. And if you did have your vaccination, how did you feel afterwards? Were you ill or weren't you? I'd love to know. I'm now trying to burnish it a bit with this is a Kohinoor Hardmut. I think you don't pronounce it as a TH. Blender pencil. It's not as nice as the Derwent blender pencil. It's quite hard, but there were still sort of white bits of paper showing through, so I just decided to use that. And believe it or not, I think these 5 little puffs of flowers probably took me close to an hour to color. I am such a slow colorist. Anyhow, I want to tell you that the next 3 colors that I'm going to be using are also Prismacolor, and the darkest one is Tuscan Red, which is PC937. The medium one is Henna, and it is PC1031, and the lightest one is Pink Rose, and it is PC1018. I will try and remember to leave a list of the colors in case you want them in the more information section underneath this video. But I just thought I'd tell you, I'm using the technique on these flowers. I meander between going from dark to light or from light to dark. And this time I'm doing an all over, would I call it cover, and all over, if it was watercolor, I'd call it a wash. Anyway, I'm doing an all over whatever with the palest color first, then I'm going about 3/4 of the way with the medium color, and then about 1/4 of the way with the dark color, and then repeating the procedure. So from now on, as I color the pink flowers, and I decided to make this big one and the small little ones, the small round ones, the same color scheme. So I'm going to put on some music by Epidemic Sound, and I think I shall not speed this up, so let me know again in the comments, please, if you would have preferred me to speed it up. But sometimes it's nice to just see that, oh, you're not the slowest colorist in the world. Look, because Liz is the slowest colorist in the world. She cannot work fast, and so I don't need to feel bad about myself. All right, then. I'm going to do this, just wanted to quickly say, this picture as a series. So this is part 1, and then we'll do part 2, see how far I get in that. And I'm not sure if there'll be a part 3 and 4 or only a part 3. We'll see. But do enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I do so enjoy the music from Epidemic Sound. They have the most incredible selection available, and although they've got sort of rock and pop and hip hop and all that jazz, I always go for the quiet and more instrumental, slightly classical things. So now, if you've managed to stay with me this far in the video, I'm going to be sharing a recording of myself singing. This was done probably 25 to 30 years ago, not recorded professionally. It was recorded, my accompanist still had one of those reel-to-reel cassette recorders, and we recorded our concert. It was not as I say, professionally done or anything like that. It was at a live concert, and the song I'm singing is an aria by Handel called Care Salve, and I don't by any manner of means think that I sound perfect, but I thought maybe you would like if I shared this other facet of my life with you a little bit as well. So thanks again for watching this video.